Thursday. It's 8 p.m. It's the Thursday show. Thank you, all my wonderful friends, for joining us once again. Yes, you have made it through another week. An absolute hat tip to you. Who would have thought this time last year, giving a medical certificate in order to get to a pub would be considered freedom? Yep, that's what they're thinking of. Vaccine passports in order to get to the pubs. That means anytime you need to go for a pint, you'll need your proof of age, your vaccine passport, maybe a lateral flow test, perhaps a breathalyzer test, perhaps a driving license, maybe your first aid certificate, a GCSE grade 25-meter swimming pool, the Heimlich maneuver. You're gonna have a lot of paperwork. I don't really see why we have to do this, arse about it. I think that we should do them together. Why can't we do vaccines in the pub? You could have a Pfizer and a Foster's, an AstraZeneca and an Amstel, a Booster and a Bailey's. But that's probably why I'm not in power. Boris Johnson, of course, our glorious leader, coming out in the news today and saying that he needs a haircut. Mate, I think you've needed a haircut since 1997. So there is a lot to make sense of, but it's not just me. It's not just Jay. It's not only Vlad. It is you that make this show. Thank you very much for the comments that have already started coming through. Evil Dave has got on there. Thank you very much. Give us a like on Facebook. That makes us more visible to other people. If you are like Christy Shields all the way from Melbourne, give us a share so that more people can see us. The whole ethos of this show is it is free to watch. It's not free to make. If you have enjoyed it, then along there you can donate. If you've enjoyed it, give us a like. If you've enjoyed it, donate. If you've enjoyed it, share it. If you haven't enjoyed it, let's keep it stuck. But let's welcome one of my merry band. Is it going to be that way or is it going to be that way? Let's welcome the wonderful Jay Sodagar. It's that way, that way.
That way. Oh, I thought he was going to get me. I thought he was going to get me.
Every time. He's tiny today. How are you, my friend?
Yes, I'm very well. I'm very well. I knew it. I knew he was going to do that. I knew he was going to do it. It's there, isn't it? It's there. See, I'm mirrored. There you go. But hey, look.
This is the most fun of the week.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. I mean, look, there's a massive ship stuck up a Suez Canal. For crying out loud. We've all been there. Do you know what I mean? I see what's happening. I see what's happening. Just get a little bit of what's that? Imodium. Just get a bit of Imodium down there. Flush it down the Suez Canal. Start it from the Red Sea. And it'll just come out, just pop out just like that. It really would. Bless. I think that's where all the vaccines are. I think that's where all the vaccines are. They're stuck on that ship. That's what it is, I reckon. That's what I reckon. And bless, look, I was reading newspapers about the Republicans. This is absolutely true. All the stuff that they were saying after Donald Trump lost the election and it was voter fraud and the Dominion machines were all, broken and they were fraudulent and all this kind. They admitted, like leading lawyers and everything, actually admitted that it was purely opinion, that there was no fact based on it at all. It was just purely opinion. And when they said all these things, like Rudy Giuliani and all these other sort of like lawyers, like the reason why they just admitted it is because Dominion voting machines have sued them all for $1.3 billion each for lying. So now they have to say that it was just an opinion. It wasn't factually based, because if they had fact, they would then be able to go to court, and Rudy Giuliani would not be able to afford Just for Men anymore. So bless him. But it has been a good week. It has been a good week for me. It really has. I've now got 7 live gigs booked in the diary. 7 live gigs. I'm actually going to be on a stage somewhere, actually telling jokes and stuff like that. I might do some stuff in Brighton. We don't know, but that's a little tentative. But I've got 7 definite gigs already booked in the diary, and I'm looking forward to getting back on stage. I'm so looking forward. I think the culture of comedy will change a little bit. I think the heckle put downs might be a little bit. You can say stuff like, "I don't know whether they're laughing because they've all got masks on." That could be one thing, or another one. You should definitely self-isolate because not because of COVID, because you're a knob. I think that will be a firm favourite for me. That'll be a firm favourite for me. How have you been, Dave? How have you been?
Very good. I'm very excited. I've got 4 live gigs in the diary when all this finishes. I'm going to see Fleetwood Mac, and then I'm going to see Taylor Swift, and then I'm going to go to Love Box, and then Shakespeare in the Park. It's going to be brilliant. So
I saw what you did there.
Let's find out how many gigs our another co-presenter is. Is he that way? Is he that way? It's the wonderful Vladimir McTavish.
Yes,
I'm right.
Yes, I was just moving around in shot there. I have got 6 live gigs in my diary. One of which is the Bingo Hall in Falkirk. There you go. So I'm quite hoping that lockdown goes on endlessly, to be perfectly frank. If that's what the circuit is going to be like. Yeah, that's the things we haven't missed. Yeah, like you, Dave, I'm intrigued by the idea of the vaccine passport to get into a pub. I think the one thing we can be absolutely 100% certain about is if the vaccine passports do come in, you're going to be able to buy a dodgy vaccine passport off some guy down the pub. Friend of mine got his jab on Monday. Got it on Monday or Sunday. Anyway, he got it a couple of days ago. He got the AstraZeneca, and he had severe side effects. He felt absolutely like shit until yesterday, and he drank 5 pints of beer, and he feels brand new. So that is the antidote. Just flush that vaccine out your system.
You can tell which one is the English one, can't you?
Yeah. But they have been concerned about the AstraZeneca vaccine, as we know. Throughout Europe, people have been resistant to it because they think it might cause blood clots. And so AstraZeneca have done something like this, and medical experts have decided the best way to tell is, or to put this whole theory to the test, is to see what happens if the vaccine was directly injected into a clot, and we can see what happened. There we are.
Very good.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think he has had a haircut. I think he's basically one of the side effects of the AstraZeneca vaccine is having the attention span of a goldfish. That's the problem with Johnson. He just fucking can't concentrate on anything. I reckon he got out of the seat before the vaccine had actually gone into his bloodstream. That's why his hair's like that. He'll sit down for a haircut. They'll take a couple of snips off. They go, is that it finished? The man is a total buffoon. Did you know when he was at Eton, he was in the Dramatic Society, and he was cast in the role of Hamlet in Hamlet. Now, I don't know how many of you know Hamlet by William Shakespeare, but you don't have to have seen or read the play to kind of work out that Hamlet has quite a lot of lines in the play Hamlet, funnily enough. And he didn't bother learning his lines. He got what he did, and this is typical Johnson, just buffoonery, but thinking he's being quite devious. He put all these lines on post-it notes around various parts of the set, which any dramatist to do that is gonna, hostage to fortune. But doing a fucking Shakespeare, which you've never bothered to learn or read, suddenly you've got this bit of incredible verse on a post-it note, and apparently it was a complete disaster.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But it's easy to characterize the guy as a buffoon because he's actually an evil piece of shit. No, he has. I mean, one of the things about Boris Johnson is that he has brought the politics of toxic hate to this country in the last 5 years, which British politics was pretty civilized until Johnson came on the scene. And there has been a campaign of toxic hate for the last 5 years in this country, and that is all down to him. And it has to be said that has been something that hasn't happened a great deal north of the border, but it has. He's actually tried to translate this whole atmosphere of toxic hate into Scottish politics. He actually tried. I mean, if the Russians were to try and do what Boris Johnson did this week in Crimea, there'd be an international outcry. But what Johnson and his cronies in the Scottish Parliament have done is they have actually deliberately tried to overthrow a democratically elected government by a stupid stunt. And basically, they were attempting to pass a vote of no confidence in Nicola Sturgeon because she forgot the exact date of one meeting she had been, nothing to do with the Alex Salmond case. She forgot the exact date of one meeting she'd been to 3 years ago. Now, if that's a reason to be forced out of government, for fuck's sake. But of course, it was a Machiavellian plot worthy of Boris Yeltsin, but the delivery of the plot was carried out by, it could have been carried out by Mr. Bean. So they got all their cronies in Scotland to have, guys with loads of money, were actually, they hired a plane with this banner that said, "Resign Sturgeon," except they hadn't checked the spelling. And well, firstly, it'd be crass enough to send a plane up with "Resign Sturgeon" on a banner, thinking that Nicola's got so much time in her hands, she's going to look out the window of Butte House and say, "What haven't I done today? Oh, I've not resigned." But secondly, they hadn't checked it. And actually, what the banner said was "Resign Sturgeon." Sturgeon, why should they resign? But anyway, the whole thing was a complete disaster because basically they tried to pass this vote of no confidence. Labour and the Lib Dem, they'll be on our side. They just caved. So the Tories were just wiped. The whole of the Scottish Parliament wiped the floor with the Tories. And the thing about the guy that Johnson has put in place to lead the Scottish Tory party isn't even a member of the Scottish Parliament. He's a guy called Douglas Ross. He's deeply unpopular because, one, he's a Tory, and two, he's a football referee. So everyone hates the cunt already, right? The best thing about this whole thing is because Nicola Sturgeon had to resign because she forgot the exact date of a meeting 3 years ago. Yesterday, Boris Johnson forgot the name of the leader of the Scottish Tory party. The man who put in power to do the hatchet job, he couldn't remember his name. So I would say this, Boris Johnson, if you have a thread of integrity in your body, you have to resign. Go and go now.
There we go. Vlad did the intro to the show, and I have no understanding of which way he votes. This is a little fact that I found out this week. As a political term, the word Tory was derived as an insult from the Irish, meaning robber. And after Boris gave billions of pounds of public money to his Etonian cronies for track and trace, I feel that that's never been as true as it has right now. But there we go. It's not only the wonderful Vlad, it's not only the wonderful Jane, it's not only me. We have some wonderful guests as well. Please keep the comments coming. For example, Suzanne Della Sterling, I am sorry that my glasses are freaking you out. Basil Bottler is loving Vlad's weekly roundups. And we've had Dangerous Dan saying that this is the best part of this week. Let us know that you are there. Give us a like, give us a comment, give us a share. But before we get any further, it's now time to welcome a festival's favourite, a man who has appeared in Austria, Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, Estonia, Italy, Edinburgh. I could go on. His name's Dharmander Singh. We love him, and I'll show you why.
Yeah, so guys, have you heard of the Bollywood legend Dharmander? No! So, people who have said no, you might have heard of him as Dharmander. Yeah, because Asian people, we're very melodramatic people, aren't we? We are. And we speak very melodramatically as well. Yes, my dad is always like, Dharmander! And I'm like, ah! love you. Thanks, Dad. I just wet myself. But we've all heard of Bollywood, haven't we? Yeah. Okay. For the one person who hasn't heard of Bollywood, here's a bit of advice, right? If ever you have kids or things like that, right, don't waste money on babysitters and things like that. No, that's a waste of money. Don't waste money on buying them expensive iPads to keep them entertained. No. Just get one Bollywood film, right? Put it in the Blu-ray player. Go out, do your shopping, visit the relatives, have a glass of wine, visit the other relatives. They're going to get pissed off because you visited them and not them. You know what Indians are like, right? Have another glass of wine, go home, and I guarantee you your kid will be sitting in exactly the same position and only half of the film will be finished.
It's an absolute joy to welcome a really good mate of mine all the way live from Berlin. It is the marvellous Dharmander Singh.
All right.
Oh, he's over there. Hey, Dar, how you doing, mate? How are you?
I'm not too bad. I've got a bit of a mad cold and shit. So
you were saying before the show. I tell you what, before we got on the chat, it was lovely seeing the Cosmic there in that little clip, and we'll talk about more about Cosmic, which is the club you run in Berlin. But it was just so great seeing you on that stage there. So how are things? I mean, you're a bit under the weather, you were saying.
Yeah, I'm a bit ill, but you know, there's a lot of people who are ill. But I've thankfully not got COVID. I actually went for a test on like was it Monday or something? So like I got up the nose and down the throat. And to tell you the truth, you know, I was grateful of the attention. It was quite nice, yeah. So I might go again next week.
Because your life's changed a lot over the last year. Not only have you been in lockdown quite a lot of time like the rest of this, but you became a dad, what, 10 months ago?
Yeah, 10 months ago, my wonderful wife gave birth to twins.
Right.
All things. It's amazing, like, when I was on stage and I'd tell the audience, I'd be like, I've recently become a father, and the crowd would always be like, yeah, and then I'd be like, of twins, and the crowd would be like, oh, hey, fucking hell, you know, do you want me to send one back? Yeah, it's been brilliant being in lockdown, because I've just been 100% being a father,
yeah,
and also I've got these two little captive audience members. And
all right, and
but my daughter, she's already started heckling me, which isn't too cool. But yeah, it's been great. I've been loving it. I love being a dad. It's the best.
Because you've got each, haven't you? You've got a boy and a girl.
I've got a boy and a girl, and it's really, because the girl is really a little version of me. She's like an attention seeker. She's like got this absolute amazing energy level, which is annoying. Now I understand people, but and then my son, he's basically the chilled out version of me, and my stoned version of me, and my daughter is like an amphetamine version of me, which kind of is just me normal. Yeah, right. And they're half German, so they I'm not going to say shit, actually, because my wife's watching this.
So she's the English one and he's the German one, is that?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, because she's actually a lot more aggressive as well. She's a proper little bully.
Yeah, well, she is the English one then.
Well, the English, yeah, her English side is she likes to take everything from him. So he's the Indian in this relationship, and yeah, it's that typical thing where whenever he's got something, she'll like just crawl up and just snatch it off him, and then I'll give him something else, and then whatever she's just snatched off him, she'll just throw on the floor and then grab the next thing, and then she'll even look at me with a little. And the problem is, I laugh at all her bad behavior because she's just the funniest little thing. So she's learning to be bad because she gets positive responses from me because I laugh. Oh. Yeah. So at the moment, I'm trying not to laugh.
Yeah. You're reminding me now of my parenting skills.
Right, well, right, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was like as a parent. Oh yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so but it's really, really hard. So at the moment, I really, even when I tell her off, she just looks at me like, fuck you, you know what I mean? And then she'll do a look, and then I'll be like, yeah, come on then. And then I'll just find something else for the boys to do. It's like, it's awesome. I love it. I totally advise it. Have kids, people. Have kids.
Well, it is a way of kind of making sense of being stuck in your house for a year, isn't it? I mean, and you've been fortunate in that you've had this big life change. Because basically, I've been in the house for the best part of a year, and what's happened with me is my wife keeps on getting me to do increasingly more dangerous DIY jobs.
Yeah.
I'm a clumsy guy at the best of times, and so she had me up a step ladder, drilling a hole into a wall with a power drill to put up a picture, which had gone up anywhere in the house. But she thought the best place for this picture was above the fish tank. So I'm up a dodgy step ladder above water and glass with an electrical power drill.
She's just bought some new piranha fish as well there.
Well, I was just wondering what's in that tank.
You, mate, you're going to be in that tank.
I was up a tree in the garden at the weekend in the same step ladder, which wasn't that secure on the floor. And that step ladder was on very uneven ground in the flower bed. And I was hanging onto a tree, trying to cut some holly down up a step ladder with a saw in one hand and hanging onto the tree with the other hand. And there was sawdust pouring into my eyes. So I think this might all come down to the fact that I got a statement about a life insurance policy had matured or could potentially mature.
I was just about to advise you to look through the drawers, mate.
Well, this came through the post, and it came through the post, and I opened it. I said, "Oh, look, this says I'm worth £35,000 if I die."
And she's like, "There's something wrong with the gutters."
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'll tell you the irony of it is the policy is with Scottish widows. So I think she's thinking, you know what? I wouldn't mind being a Scottish widow. But we were talking about what it's been like for you, but I'm guessing it's been a bit different in Germany from what it has here. But you all coped with the whole thing much earlier and much better early on.
The Germans started off pretty good. I'll give them that. Well, we started off pretty good, but we quickly went to shit, really. And it's very un-German because a lot of people aren't really even following the rules. They're
right.
Simple things like the masks, you know what I mean? And then the government have they've just mishandled it, even to like they did a soft kind of lockdown. A couple of weeks ago, they opened or about a week or so ago, they opened like non-essential shops. But 2 days ago, Angie was like, "Okay, we're going to close everything for Easter because there's this new third wave coming." And then less than 24 hours later, she was like, "Oh, I'm the leader of the Christian Democratic fucking party. I can't be closing down Easter because, you know." And so that she backtracked, which for me personally is really, really fucking annoying because I hate being away from comedy and all that, and it's my living and all of that. But the only way we're going to get rid of this is doing a really hardcore lockdown or getting everyone vaccinated. And we're even fucking that up as well at the moment. Like I said to you before the show, like they sent me a letter for vaccination. They're only supposed to be sending really essential people, like the old. And I got a letter, and I'm like, I'm only 47, but then I
do run a comedy club, so you are essential.
I am essential in that way. You know? I thought for a second that they thought I was still a teacher because I did some English teaching, but no, I just think they fucked up. And but then we tried to get an appointment, and it was like 4 weeks for you to get vaccinated, and it was like, okay, right, just okay, we're cool. But I'm hoping that they get their shit together because they've got things in place. But also, you English stole all the fucking vaccines.
Sorry,
mate.
Yeah. No. Well, English nothing to do with me.
I know. Fuck them.
No, I've had my vaccine. I had mine in Leith Health Centre. Of course,
so little dose of heroin with it as well, then.
Well,
yeah,
exactly. I was a bit unsure about the volunteer vaccinator. I was like, where do they get their skills with a needle from?
And he has to hold your wallet first. Oh, let me hold your wallet. It's like when I had this test on Monday, there were a lot of people who looked like they were job scheme kind of people there. But needs must.
Yeah, and I mean the sad thing is this has happened at. I mean, in certain respects, with your personal life, it's been a good thing to, be in lockdown with the kids.
Yeah,
but in terms of your venue, because you run, I've played the room that we saw on the video, the old Cosmic, but you're saying got a new venue.
Yeah, we it was last October. Or just before we started talks with taking over a venue called the Kookaburra, which is like one of the oldest comedy clubs in Berlin, and then we kind of signed the contract and like paid a big deposit to take over the company, and then they fucking locked us down again. It was like, oh right, okay. But thankfully, we only really took it over at the beginning of March. And the government are giving some assistance, which is good again. Right. But again, very un-German. They've been just messing everything up, like with admin. But yeah, we've got a new venue, and it's going to be 7 days a week. We run it. It's going to be fucking amazing. And as soon as they let us open, we're going to rock.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I love the old place, but. You didn't own that. That was just a basement of a bar. Whereas you having complete control of your own venue is going to be absolutely brilliant. And
there were little things in the old venue that would get some complaints from audience members, which were valid, and would ask the venue to like do stuff. I didn't really give a fuck. And so now we're totally in control. And it's like mine and Neil Numb, he's a fucking Scottish legend. He's the co-promoter. This is our baby now, and we've got loads of ideas. We're going to have a hot sauce shop in there as well, because Neil's a little chili hot sauce fucking mogul of Berlin. We're gonna have rehearsal studios down in the basement. We're gonna have a VIP, because it used to be a bank, so there's an actual bank vault in there. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. So we're gonna have a VIP members kind of only room in the vault, so people can party before and after the show. It's going to be wicked.
And you were telling me that you live upstairs.
Oh fuck it! That's supposed to be a secret.
Oh, that's all right. You could live upstairs if you want to.
Yeah, no. We don't live upstairs. Quickly move on.
Right. Okay. So you have to do all that commuting that you've not missed during lockdown. You're gonna have to do that again.
Yeah, it's gonna take ages to get to work, and but that's the other fucked up thing that happened in Germany, is that they were like telling us all to socially distance, and then the trains, everyone would just be rammed into the trains, and you'd just be like, wait a minute, I've got to close down. And we were really good with social distancing at Cosmic. We had like group seating, but it was all 1.5 meters away from each other. And we had one-way systems, and we had hand sanitizer. It was amazing. We really did a good job. But then you jump on the fucking train, and everyone would be like this, and you're like, well, who's lobbying who at the moment, So, that's a bit annoying.
Yeah, well, the good thing is that you are going to be back eventually, and when you are, it's going to be absolutely. I can't wait to come over and see it. But you are doing. Is it a crowdfunding thing you're doing, or is it
Yeah, we're going to do a Kickstarter campaign in the next couple of weeks, just to, because we were going to do it anyway, just to like really refurb the place up, because it hasn't really been decorated in like 20 years. And we want to, like I said, we want to set up a hot sauce shop, and we want to do rehearsal space downstairs for like the theatre, run comedy workshops and all that kind of stuff. Brilliant. But also now the Kickstarter might even be like, keep us afloat, please. So also we want people to just buy gift vouchers. You can go to our website, cosmiccomedyberlin.com, or our Facebook thing, and just buy vouchers, because as you know, we have loads of merchandise. Like we've got the t-shirts, we've got fucking bags, we've got bottle openers, we've got jigsaws, for God's sake, mugs.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, we got fucking Cosmic Comedy jigsaws. Neil will print Cosmic Comedy. Cosmic Comedy on my fucking kids, mate. And I was like, no. Let them get a bit older. So yeah, you can support Cosmic Comedy by just buying merch or gift vouchers.
No, you've got some great merch, and of course, in the old days, you had to take that all the way with you every night, didn't you? At the end of the show.
Well, that was it. Well, after the Saturday show, we used to have to put everything away because, unfortunately, well, it wasn't our venue, but they'd have sports on a lot of the time. Yes. So if you have stuff there, it'd all get fucked up. But now, yeah, we can just, you walk in, and that's the other great thing about taking over this venue, was that once they handed us the keys, we could open straight away. As a comedy club, you know what I mean? It's got an amazing lighting system, amazing sound system, a great backstage area. So yeah, now it'll be like Cheers. You just open up, hey, and then yeah.
I tell you what, by selling jigsaws at the venue, you'll know if the gig's not going well if there's someone in the audience doing a jigsaw.
Right. I've done some of these Cosmic gigs. The great thing about Cosmic is that we have such a selection of audience. You know what I mean? There's so many different international people. There's so many people who Cosmic could be their first experience of live comedy. Which I love that. I love an audience who they come up to you afterwards and they're like, oh, I was a bit scared to come to the club because but it was a lovely experience. But, I remember a couple of gigs where random things, where someone would be fucking drawing on the, remember that we had the sofas at the front, like with his feet up, just drawing. It's like, mate, what the fuck are you drawing? It's like, oh, you.
Yeah, that happened to me once. Listen, Dart, it's been brilliant having you on the show. Stick around, because as you know, you're coming back before the end. But it is lovely to see you again, mate. And we've got some more fun coming up. I'm going to hand you back to, I think, Jay, but it might be Dave. We've had a bit of a connectivity. Oh, it's back to the marvelous Jay Sodagar. Oh, and Dave Chawner. Give it up for Dharmander Singh.
Very good, very good. Oh, bless. Oh, yes. Hello. Dave has got some technical issues. I do have to mention this week's show is sponsored by uswitch.com. If you want to change your internet search provider, contact uswitch.com. And that's what Dave needs to do. Bless you. But yes, this show does work on donations. The more you donate, the more we might be able to get a carrier pigeon for Dave's internet connection. There's a little donatey thing. Anything you give us will be hugely appreciated. It's not just the lovely Dharmander that we've got. We have our second guest, and what a lovely, lovely chap this guy is. Please watch a little clip of our next guest, the one, the only Mr. Stuart Reid.
Hey!
Make World Book Day go with a bang. Book an author for a virtual video visit. Award-winning Scottish author Stuart Reid, 2,000 schools and libraries and book festivals. Inspirational, engaging, educational, and absolutely buzzing about books. Watch your video anytime, in any class, with your personal YouTube link.
I was caught in
Brilliant. We always like to sort of like have slightly different guests and interesting guests and stuff. And I think this week we've probably got one of the most fascinating, one of the most interesting people. Please give it up for the one and only Stuart Reid.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, my friend. It's a pleasure. Just so all the viewers and listeners can sort of know, me and Stuart have met many a time, but in Edinburgh, in passing, on at probably Nick Coppin's birthday party or something like that. We've met certainly. But the one thing I when you go to Edinburgh and you meet a lot of comedians, you just naturally think that everyone's a comedian. You're actually a kids entertainer. You've done all sorts of things. You do stand up as well, but you do primarily kids shows. How did you get into kids shows?
Wow. I was living in Dubai 10, 12 years ago, and I just started to hate it. It was not a nice place to live. It's filled with Jamira James who are interested in Gucci handbags and getting their nails done all the time. My wife didn't like it, and my work was getting me down. I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it up, and I'm going to start writing kids' books. And I found a publisher. Honest, Jay, I gave up my house and my salary and my pension scheme and my health care and my cars. And I came back to Scotland, and I started writing books about bums and bogies, just because it made me laugh again. And I found a publisher, and it says, brilliant, but you'll never make any money being a children's author. Go back and get a real job. So I did that for a year, and I thought, you know what? Kids go to school 5 days a week for 40 weeks a year. I can go and speak to in schools and libraries and book festivals, pay you to go and talk to kids about getting excited about reading. And I thought, this is the best job in the world. So that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years.
Me and Stuart had a little chat about all this kind of stuff. But you were a hotel manager in Dubai. In like a large resort. You were literally living the most idealistic life you could possibly. You had swimming pools, you had everything, right?
You think it's a fantastic life. Yes, I was a general manager. I looked after a large 300-bedroom hotel. I went to India and Sri Lanka and Myanmar to find the best team of people to come and work for my hotel, because whatever I'm going to do, I want to be the best. And my team was fantastic, and the lifestyle was supposedly good. We had a swimming pool, we had a maid, we had a gardener. My wife and I drove big 4x4s. Petrol was about 10p a litre, and we had a lovely big house and stuff. But it just became so oppressive after a couple of years. Credit crunch, that's when it was, 2008. The world ran out of money. My occupancy in Dubai went from like 95% down to 20% in the space of a month. Everybody left. Nobody was staying in hotels. Businesses were tightening their belts, and it just collapsed. And I thought, you know, I've done it for long enough. I tried really hard to build it up, but nobody was traveling. And I just thought, I'm going to go to Scotland and be an author, write kids' books, write about stuff that makes me laugh, poo and pee and pumps and stuff like that.
Oh, that is amazing. No, genuinely, that fucking hell. It's like everyone kind of always. This is the one thing very similar to this. I used to be an accountant. Right, I used to be a very sort of like first class honours degree with distinction from the London School of Economics. Thanks. But what happened was when I came out of university and everyone just said, oh, this is going to be your life and you're going to be rich, all this kind of stuff. Everything's going to be on your doorstep and everything. And to be perfectly honest, I hated it. And comedy was a huge education for me, where I suddenly went, this is something else. It's like, this really does challenge you. This really does do it. And I can see that you're a people person. I can genuinely see that like you get excited about stuff. This is one of the most amazing things that I've discovered about you. But no, like, I ask this to every guest. It's like, we've gone through some shitty times in terms of lockdown and everything. What has lockdown been for you?
Lockdown's been mad. I've actually been busier than I think I've ever been, because the last few, I think I'll never leave the house again. I'm making videos for schools. I'm doing creative writing lessons. I'm doing 6 little short videos, about 15 minutes long. I'm doing reading sessions. I'm filming all my segments of my books, like this, editing it, putting music in. You saw the little video clip at the start. That's been watched nearly 2,000 times by various schools around the country. In fact, there was one school booked me, but then cancelled me because they realised I wasn't quite as highbrow as they thought I was going to be. Highbrow being a small muppet wiggling its bottom on a potty. I don't know what they were expecting, but I said, my books are very bums and bogies. They went, oh no, we don't want that kind of nonsense. Kids love that stuff. I think I know what makes them laugh, and it's bums and bogies and big bottom burps. And if it gets them excited about books, if it gets them reading, if it gets them passionate, they're not going to buy books for the rest of their lives. You know, they're into reading when they're 8 or 9 or 10, and then they'll go to high school and they'll read brilliant stuff like To Kill a Mockingbird or whatever it is. But it gets them into reading at a really early age. And that's what I now see my job is to inspire young readers.
This is one of the things I was so glad. I was so glad when we would discuss a few weeks ago on what guests we had, and your name came up, and it's just such a fascinating thing that this is where you kind of come through. One of the things that now you told me this that you were booked for Latitude.
That was my highlight of 2020. Supposed to be. I had my tent booked in the VIP section, around the back, and Liam Gallagher's trailer would have been there, and Haim and Keane and Snow Patrol, and I'd have been sitting there. I had my badge. They sent me the pass, and I've got to get back to that again. It's like the whole world stopped, and that's my pinnacle that I've got to go back to now. And I get excited with that stuff because I've been doing well-being stuff with schools as well. And I'm lucky for not mentioning it, but I'm going to mention it. I've never mentioned this on any video at all. But when I was living in Dubai, I came back to my house and there was a bag of fertilizer lying on the middle of the grass. Now, I had 2 young kids at the time, and I thought, that's not right. Ali, my gardener's left the fertilizer. And then there was 3 bikes parked over at the wall and 2 lawnmowers. And I thought, Ali, my gardener, is actually taking the piss out of my garden. He's using it as a bike park for the rest of the gardeners that are working in the street. And I kind of lost it. You know, the whole world had gone tits up with credit crunch, and I picked up his bike and I threw it over the wall, and I picked up his other lawnmower and I threw it over the wall as well. And he's going, no sir, no sir. And I just lost it. And I realised at that point that we don't need to work ourselves into the ground to enjoy life. To find out what makes you happy, you've got to smile, and you've got to try and hopefully make other people enjoy themselves as well. And that's what my books are all about.
This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. This is exactly what we can do. See, as comedians, one thing I guess, when you're like a political comic or you write political satire or stuff like that, one of the things that we always want the audience to think and laugh and change stuff, and we are just still that same idealistic sort of 20-somethings that sort of want to change the world and go on marches and all this kind of stuff. And now doing comedy, I feel that I've got far more kind of control than just being another person on a march. I've actually got a voice that I can actually say and use on stage, and just exactly the same as what you've got in terms of the kids shows and everything.
I've been to 2,000 schools and libraries and book festivals, and I always think if children are laughing and they're listening, they're learning at the same time. And that's all they need to teach them. This coming year, I said earlier, gee, I want to get back to where I was before. I've got 30 shows booked in at the Brighton Fringe at the start of June. I'm doing 4 shows a day. I've never done 4 shows a day in my life. I'm 53. I'll be looking at like Tommy Cooper, and they'll be pulling the curtain over the top of me, and the kids will be traumatized and freaking out and stuff. And why is that man turning blue, Mum? I can't wait to get back on stage again, just to get that interaction with the audience. And we're doing more shows because it's socially distant and there's less people in the theatre, but it's about having fun and getting back out there, and I really don't mind. And if I have to do 4 shows a day, then I'll push myself for it. Like you want to get back on stage, man.
Oh, I'm itching. I'm itching to get back on stage. I cannot wait. Listen, Stuart, stick around. We've got tons of fun and games for you. I think we've got everyone back. So let's see if we've got everyone back. So let's see.
Hey!
Yes,
there we are. Look at this. First up, you're 53, Stuart.
I know.
It's I tell the kids I'm 32, and they go, "What's that grey stuff in your hair?" I say, "I spray it silver so that other authors don't get too jealous of my good looks."
I will point out, Dave, that Stuart is 53 and Scottish.
You made it.
He's got 4 years left.
Well, look at Vlad's only 24, so
Yeah,
I mean, you're doing, look at
It's midway. Tell you what, Stuart, that was true what I said at the top of the show. One of my first gigs back is Buzz Bingo in Falkirk. So you and Audrey must come down to the gig and we'll have a few beers afterwards.
Guaranteed, mate. Guaranteed. Front row. No, shit, back row.
Front row, 8 meters away, probably.
well, like they say in bingo, let's move the fuck on, because we've got our next section. I couldn't think of a segue. A better host would, but you haven't paid. So let's play our next part of the show. It's called Desert Island Dicks. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. There they are. The penile of disgruntlement. If you haven't seen this section before, who would you like to strand on a desert island because they are a dick? That is the concept. It is as simple as that. We're going to go all the way over to German land and ask Dar, who would you strand on a desert island that would be your dick?
Well, it's a few different people, and it's because of my daily walks. I take the kids out every single day a couple of times. The fucking loads of people piss me off, from people with the fucking mobile phones talking to other people on loudspeaker phone like they're on some fucking reality TV show. So what the fuck? You're waking my kids up, you prick. You know what I mean? Also people listening to music on their mobile phones. I'm not a granddad, like, you know what I mean? If the young kids, fair play. But it's usually one lonely fuck like a peacock, like listening to my fucking shit music. Fucking he's a dickhead as well. Whoever designed the crossing lights on Sonnenallee on the dual carriageway, because I can only get halfway before they fucking turn red. Like Usain Bolt wouldn't even make it, and he was a notorious slow starter, wasn't he? So fuck him as well. Cunts who fucking wear their masks on their chins. You know what I mean? I've got kids there. Don't give them COVID. They're the same people who want the lockdown to be over, innit? They're the same people who want the lockdown to, but then they won't wear the mask. It's like bugging someone to like have sex with them, and then you're like, oh, can I wear the condom halfway, please? Come on, let me do it.
Well, there we go. We've got the holy trinity of curse words there. Please don't forget to donate, because we'll probably get taken off Facebook by this time next week. So a very strong and impassioned start from Dar. Stuart, who is on your desert island?
Definitely. During lockdown, we're all watching telly, and I've actually developed the ability to shout and swear and kick the television at exactly the same time. And there's one man that's actually causing me to go right over the edge. It's Jacob Rees-Mogg. He's an malicious, despicable, devious, self-serving, overprivileged, over-entitled snob. And he actually voted to reduce benefits by 52 times. He voted twice to repeal the Human Rights Act. What kind of monster does that? He's just a hideous man. He's borderline fascist. And you might know this as well. Dharmander, Jacob Rees-Mogg actually retweeted a German right-wing group's video. What kind of code is that? In fact, I tell you, I'm going to take him to the desert island myself. I'm going to row him there on a boat, and I'm going to dump him on the beach. And I'll just say, Rees-Mogg, see you next Tuesday.
Can I just say, two excellent additions. What a way to make Dharmander look like an utter dick, because he just said people that listen to music on their phone. You're like, he's a benefit fraud. He's retweeted the right wing. I love it. I'm going to pass this over to my esteemed colleague.
Yeah, but does he wear his mask on his chin? Does he wear his mask on his chin?
It doesn't even bother. He lies like that in Parliament thinking he's in his bedroom.
Oh, he's gone now.
Vlad, what are your thoughts?
Well, I tell you who I put at desert island is people who cross the road texting.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I reckon I should be allowed to run them over.
I like it. Jay.
Now this is a topical thing for me. I had to apply. Well, I had to reapply for renew my car insurance. Okay, my car insurance, and car insurance companies are bastards. They really are. Like, I phoned up one car insurance company, as opposed to one that I'm with, and they quoted me 300 quid. Right, 300 quid. I thought, okay, well, I'll go on to another car insurance company. They wanted to charge me £900, the exact same insurance policy, over £600 difference. And that's just literally, it's like some bloke just sat there, and there's no spreadsheet, there's no kind of algorithm, there's no nothing, there's no formula. He just went 900 quid. Fuck it, it just add pence at the end of it to make it seem like it was from an algorithm. Oh, it's £903.42. That's what it is, really. That's it. It's scientific, isn't it? It's basically some bloke called Dave just sat in the back going, yeah, you know what? Fuck it, £2,000. I couldn't care less about him.
It's not. It's some bloke called Jacob Rees-Mogg saying, I can make some more money.
What you should do, Jay, is go compare.
Yeah, the weird thing is I went on to Go Compare, right? And the cheapest car insurance they gave me there, right, was £304. Now I phoned up an insurance company that's not on Go Compare who charged me 300 quid, £4 cheaper. I'm just saying.
Before we get onto stamp duty and mortgage rates, I'm going to call this one. So I think I love Dharmander's passion and swearsies. I genuinely thought it was amazing. Saw you in a different light. I like Stuart had obviously prepped. He got his facts, he got his figures and statistics. And I think for that reason, he wins the Desert Island Dicks. Absolute congratulations to him. But it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And we are finally going to move on to our final game of the show. Now, we thought, as we have an esteemed children's author, it would be good to hand over to our comedians to give some bedtime stories. I am going to give you 4 little scenes. And while I'm talking, I want you to draw them. Now, you can do this at home, my friends. Make sure that you let us know in the chat. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep commenting, and we want to know your illustrations. So, for the first one, has everyone got a pen ready? Good. I'm just stalling for time because my laptop stopped working. So,
uswitch.com.
I know, right? I wouldn't mind, but I actually pay ridiculous amounts for my internet. Right, so for the challenge, picture number 1, Richard and Francesca, Richard and Stephanie decided to meet up to play tennis in the wetlands. Dick wanted to play, but Fanny wasn't ready. You'll get stiff, Dick, said Stephanie. You need to warm up. Dick rubbed himself up and down. I'm ready to go. Fanny said, well, I'm not ready. I need to get in the mood. That is your scene. We want to see your pictures. Moving on to picture number 2. Eventually, Richard and Stephanie had warmed up. Stephanie realized that she'd left some of her kit at home. Oh, dear. Dick, can I play with your balls? Said Stephanie. Of course, said Dick. I love it when you play with my balls. Just try and keep up. Last time we didn't even get to juice. I've got a good feeling, said Fanny. I think we'll get to juice in no time. They played with each other until they both got no more to give. Lovely, lovely little scene. Scene number 3.
Oh, hang on.
I'll draw my cock as well.
So don't forget, you can play along at home, and while you're playing along, you can still donate. Recommended donation is £5,000 or £10,000 per person. So keep the donations ticking in, because magic like this doesn't come cheap. We've got a whole production team behind it. Right, we move on to I said that in the wrong voice. I said that in my reading voice. It came across very patronizing. So picture number 3. Richard and Stephanie were exhausted and decided to stop for lunch. Stephanie got out some baked goods. "Can I nibble your muffin?" said Richard. "How rude," said Stephanie. "You can't just expect to munch my muffin just because it's out." "Well, don't get your muffin out if you don't want it nibbled," said Richard. Hashtag reclaim the street. So that is don't laugh. You're not allowed to laugh. That is the third picture. Some muffin nibbling. And finally, for picture number 4 and our final part in our show tonight. "Crikey, is that the time?" said Stephanie. "I've got to go home. I've got to leave some water for Mrs. Moggs." "Who's Mrs. Moggs?" said Dick. "Sorry, it's my pussy," said Fanny. "I can't leave my pussy unattended. She gets dry when she gets neglected." "I would love to stroke your pussy," said Richard. "Well, let's see how we get on when we get home." Lovely, lovely little scenes there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you all to get your pictures ready. We're going to start with picture number 1. The scene was Dick and Fanny playing in the wetlands, and Fanny playing with Dick. I want to see those pictures. Hold them up now. Oh, how delightful. Children's author Stuart Reid's invested in a Sharpie. And apparently Richard is a dog. I think that's a dog. Let's have a look at Vlad's. Vlad's is...
Very similar. Very similar.
Oh, hold that still. Vlad, that's amazing. Oh my goodness, I didn't know you had talent. We're going to go over to Dharmander now. Oh, wow. He's got a nice green van. That is exceptional. And finally, Jay.
There we go. So if you can see that, hold on, let me get that right. So that is Dick's cock. That's Dick. That's his little tennis racket. That's the little tennis thing. This, I'm proud of this. This is Fanny. Look, you can see because she's got a skirt on, and she's not in the mood. Hold on, hey, where's my finger? There it is. She's not in the mood, so she's got a sad face, and he's got a happy face. You see, I'm listening. There you
go. It's at this point in time, I'm just going to remember the viewers that we've got here. We've got Jay here on a council budget. They're giving us some money to try and help. It's care in the community. Next one, the picture of where Dick and Fanny decide to play with each other's balls. Let's have a quick look. Hold them all up. We're going to do them all together this time. Keep it all ticking along. Vlad, absolutely loving Stuart. Wow, what a rack we have got there. Dharmander is very ice cream related. I absolutely love that. And let's go over to Jay.
She's juggling with the balls. She's juggling with the balls. I've done something very, very clever. Picture number 4 is that way.
Oh, look at that. Now we're on to picture number 3, nibbling the muffin. Let's have a quick look at nibbling the muffin. This was a shorter idea when I came up with it in the production meeting. Vlad has come up with a great one. Stuart, you know what? I think Vlad is winning this by far. I just love this. This is between Vlad and Stuart. And I think that Dharmander has opened a new ice cream parlor and is trying to flog ice cream.
He's having sex with a cake. I just thought I'd so.
Very good. And Jay's on the wrong picture. Again, ladies and gents.
No, look. If you do it that way, it's a 69. But what's happening is she's playing with his balls and he's eating her muffin.
There you go. Love it. And finally, it was meant to take 30 seconds. And finally, we move on to Mrs. Slocum Hour, as Christie's called it. Dars, wonderful. Absolutely brilliant. Having sex with a pig. Great. Children's author Stuart Reid says, no, I'm a children's author. Brilliant. I love that. Again, Vlad, brilliant work. I genuinely like that. And finally, let's go over to special case McDo.
So you can see Dick there, and there's the cat, but you can also see Fanny. There you go, Fanny, who's actually got like bra and knickers on, right? And she's like doing this because she's happy and she's ready. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, you know what? Unfortunately, we've got to draw a line there because it's well past Jay's bedtime. Well, what a pleasure it has been. I think that we are all winners this afternoon. Thank you so much to Vlad, to Stuart, to Jay, to Dar. Thank you so much for coming. Dar, if anyone is interested in Cosmic Comedy and you, where should they go for more details?
So you can find Cosmic Comedy on Facebook at Cosmic Comedy Berlin. You can find me on Facebook at Comedy Dharmander Singh, same on Instagram. And you can visit our website where you can buy vouchers and merchandise, and that is cosmiccomedy.com, I think.
Do that. Go and check it out. It's a very good club. Stuart, where would people go to find out more information about you?
On Twitter at Stuart Reid Books and Facebook Stuart Reid Author. If you want me to come to your school, or if you want to buy some books for your kids, just give me a little shout.
Lovely stuff. Absolutely brilliant books from Stuart. Brilliant comedy from Dar. A great show from everyone. A huge thank you to everyone that has been supporting, watching, and enjoying this show. We will be back same time, same place next week. But for now, all we've got to say is bye.